You have watched our other videos on the meaning of corporate governance and the role and responsibilities of boards of directors. How different scholars describe the concept of corporate governance is mostly based on different theoretical perspectives. The most dominant perspective of corporate governance is the agency theoretical perspective. In this video, we will discuss what agency means and the arguments of the proponents of the theory when considering the relationship between shareholders and managers, as well as the role of board of directors according to agency theorists. So, what is agency theory? Agency theorists use this theory to describe a contractual relationship between two parties, that is, the principal and the agent. In this relationship, the principal contractually appoints the agent to perform some service on their behalf, which includes delegating some decision-making authority to the agent. In this setting in corporate governance, the principal refers to shareholders, investors, or owners of a corporations due to their stakeholdings, while the agents who is appointed refer to the managers who are in control of these investments. This is what is called the principal-agent relationship. According to agency theorists, due to the separation of ownership and control and the human behavioral assumption that humans are boundedly rational, self-interested, and utility maximizers, there is a serious problem with the principal-agent relationship. This is what agency theorists call the agency problem. Bounded rationality implies that the parties in the agency relationship can only make rational decisions only based on the information they can access. There is emphasis on the issues of information asymmetry here. As individuals are selfish and utility maximizers who always protect their own interests, agency theorists argue that there is reason to believe that the agent will not always act in the best interest of the principal. And, due to information asymmetry, there is no way to verify the actions of the agent on behalf of the principal. These agency problems identified by agency theorists originate from moral hazard and adverse selection. Where moral hazard refers to the post-contractual activities or actions of the agents on behalf of the principal that is unverifiable, adverse selection refers to pre-contractual errors where the principal cannot verify the skills and abilities of the agent. Considering all these, in sum, the main issue in the principal-agent relationship is information asymmetry that causes a conflict of interest between parties. Therefore, agency theorists recommend the use of contracts that will align interests and investing in mechanisms that will avail the principal information to verify, monitor, and control the actions of the agent on their behalf. To achieve this, both the principal and the agent incur costs in the relationship. So, what are agency costs? Agency costs is the sum of monitoring costs, bonding costs, and residual loss. From this description of agency cost, you should be able to perceive that there are three types of agency costs. The three types of agency costs are monitoring costs which the principal incurs, bonding cost incurred by the agent, and residual loss. Let's quickly explain these agency relationship costs. Monitoring costs refers to the costs the principal incurs when they invest in mechanisms or information systems that allows for the monitoring of the behavior of the agent or management. Monitoring costs will go towards things like appointing the board of directors to supervise the management, audits, budgeting restrictions, putting policies in place, and so on. In the monitoring costs incurred by the principal, the appointment of board of directors to monitor and control the behavior and the actions of the agent is the most well-known mechanism of corporate governance. The board of directors are seen as the apex of decision-making in a corporation, and their main role is to monitor and control management. The ability to monitor and control management has led to recommendations by the proponents of agency theory regarding the composition of board of directors. These recommendations include larger boards for larger firms and smaller boards for smaller firms, conferring the roles of chairperson and chief executive officer onto different individuals, and a higher proportion of non-executive directors amongst others. As for bonding costs incurred by the agent, the principal uses this cost through outcome-based contracts to transfer the costs of poor managerial actions and decisions onto the agent. This is the cost borne by the agent to build trust with the principal, as it forces the agent to be transparent with decisions made on behalf of the principal. The last agency cost, which is residual loss, is when all corporate mechanisms, including monitoring and bonding costs, fail to align the interests between the agent and the principal. This is where we will stop on agency theory in this video. So, what have we learned so far? First, we defined agency theory as a contractual relationship between the principal and the agent. The principal appoints the agent to act on his behalf. Here the principal refers to shareholders and the agent refers to managers. In the principal-agent relationship, agency theorists propose behavioral assumptions of bounded rationality and that parties in the principal-agent relationship are selfish and are utility maximizers. This is what leads to the agency problem and causes a divergence of interests between the agent and the principal. We described the main source of agency problems to be information asymmetry, which causes moral hazards and adverse selection. Where moral hazards refers to the hidden actions of the agent which is unverifiable by the principal, adverse selection refers to the hidden information regarding the abilities of the agent. To mitigate these problems, we then identified costs incurred in the principal-agent relationship. These costs are monitoring costs incurred by the principal, bonding cost incurred by the agent, and residual loss. That will be all for this video. Once again, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.